My name is James Blackburn. I live and work in the American Southwest. As a result, I have the good fortune to be able to travel to a variety of beautiful locations. As a professional filmmaker, I document my life through video adventures and I share them with the world. Stay tuned as I travel through the world of movies and the beautiful outdoors. Thanks for watching the James Blackburn Experience.
It's October 7th, 2023, and it should be a fun trip. We got 7 days and 6 nights coming up on the river. We're all smiling. I say this a lot in my videos, that my face is starting to hurt from smiling so much. All right, folks, we are officially on the river, heading down from Mineral Bottom. All right, official camp spot for day one. 7 a.m. The earth is coming alive again, and I'm up and getting ready to pack up the boat. Day two, here we come. Roger and I are on the river. I'll be honest, folks, that was a little scary. Day two is behind us. It's about 7 a.m. Sun is starting to come up. Nice, cool morning. I am gonna head back to camp and get some breakfast. All right, folks, we are hiking over to a panel of petroglyphs. Matt knows exactly where this place is and had a wonderful dinner provided by Raj Spaghetti. It was so yummy. All right, good morning, folks. Well, it's day 4. We're all packing up and it's early morning, about 6:30, still kind of dark out. It's a good day to get on the river and float about 9 or 10 miles. All right, folks, we landed at Camp 3 on day 4 and look at this awesome view. Beautiful morning so far. Birds are singing, sun's coming up. Very tough paddle today. There's a lot of wind. Water was very rough. 10 miles of that. There's something kind of pretty about the white clouds in the blue skies with the red rock like that. Day 5, wow. I knew there were some ruins back here, but I didn't know they were this close to camp. Footsteps of history right here. Some tall rocks here, folks. These things are huge. We're hiking back into the canyon now. I've only seen videos and photos of this place. Here in person, even better. Still incredibly beautiful out here. We have to get an early start tomorrow to make it down to the confluence. In case you're wondering what the confluence is, that's where the Green River dumps into the Colorado River. And that is where we are meeting the outfitter in the morning. Okay, where it all started and where it all ended. Back at Texas Riverways in Moab. Nice and safe. Check out this company online. Chapter 1, Beginnings. All right, good howdy, folks. Welcome to another James Blackburn Experience. Today I'm on my 3rd trip to the Green River right here at Texas Riverways. This is where we meet the outfitter. We're going to unload the trucks and upload the trailers here in just a minute, so stay tuned for that. It's October 7th, 2023. And it should be a fun trip. We got 7 days and 6 nights coming up on the river, and we're super excited. All right, you can see the back of Terry's truck here. Roger's already kind of getting it unloaded. I'll help him out here in just a second. But all this stuff will come out. I'm going to put it on the ground. And then in a few minutes, they will pull a truck and a trailer over here, and we will get it all uploaded. So it's going to be awesome. Gear you need for canoeing the Green River. There are key pieces of gear you need for canoeing the Green River. Some are required by the BLM as a condition of your permit. Others are recommended for a good time to be had, especially if you're going to be out in peak bug season. Remember, canoes can carry a lot of gear. Packing light will make loading and unloading each day more efficient, but you should also feel free to bring along some creature comforts. Trucks are almost unloaded. A lot of gear for 8 people on a 7-day journey, as you can tell, but everything's looking good. We're on the right path here. Canoes coming down next. Alright, you can see the sun peeking on the rocks back there behind Texas Riverways. Good start to the morning. It's in the 40s right now. It's a little cool, but we are ready. Everybody wants to get on the river and get moving. All right, folks, the morning is beginning here. Here's a couple of the other guys down here. We're all smiling. I say this a lot in my videos that my face is starting to hurt from smiling so much because I'm just so happy and excited to be here. What do you guys think?
Happy.
Looking forward to it. Excited.
Yeah, yep, super excited. My first trip. Can't wait to get on the water.
Looking forward to it. We're almost there.
Although it is a bit chilly this morning, you can tell.
Little cold.
Waiting for the sun to come up. Yeah, but we're all good.
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, stay tuned, and as we get the trailer loaded up here in a couple minutes, I'll show you some of that. We use Texas Riverways, and they were very organized. If using that shuttle company, you will start in Moab at the company office, load your stuff into their van and trailer, and they will take you to your selected launch point. Then they will pick you up on your desired date and drive you back to Moab. The game of Tetris has begun. Canoes are by far the most popular boat type for the Green River, and that is because of the wind. The canyons can get very windy, and while canoes can be tough in a strong headwind, with two people they are still more efficient than the alternatives, including inflatable kayaks, stand-up paddle boards, and pack rafts. The other reason to go with a canoe over a different type of boat is that they can carry a lot more gear. Additional information. If you do decide to go with a pack raft or smaller inflatable boat, know that you may have to paddle harder to keep up with your friends in canoes.
Wind is going to be your most common risk factor out there. It's going to be windy. It's always windy here in the high desert. Typically it gets windier as the day heats up.
A few dirty facts. Spoiler alert. You need to pack out all human waste on overnight trips on the Green River. We highly recommend renting a toilet system from an outfitter, one that includes disposal and cleaning after the trip. There are a few things to keep in mind when choosing the time of year you want to canoe the Green River. These factors are water levels, bugs, and weather. There are 5 somewhat simple steps for an unforgettable paddle on the Green River from Mineral Bottom to the confluence. Number 1. Get the guides. Both those books will help you out a lot. Number 2. Choose your dates. Like I said, we went in early October and it was wonderful. 3. Book a shuttle. Go online and research that. 4. Make sure you get all the gear. Number 5. Enjoy the adventure. It's a one-way trip down the Green River to the confluence. Unless you have arms of steel and want to attempt paddling back up the Colorado to Moab, you'll need to arrange a shuttle. Companies will take you and your boats and gear from their compounds in Moab, where you can leave your personal vehicle, to the put-in point at Mineral Bottom. It took about an hour and a half from Moab to Mineral Bottom. This includes the last mile and a half, with a 900-foot descent on a one-lane, switchback dirt road to the put-in. Okay, we made it to Mineral Bottom. We will be unloading the boats and the gear here in a little bit. You can see our folks are heading down there toward the boat ramp. So we're going to start getting unloaded here in just a moment. It's going to be awesome. Definitely a beautiful place. I love the blue skies of the Southwest. I have done a total of 3 different canoe trips on the Green River over the years. 2 trips through Labyrinth Canyon from Ruby Ranch to Mineral Bottom, and 1 trip through Stillwater Canyon from Mineral Bottom to the confluence. Each one was unique. Each one has its own sense of adventure. I'm not going to describe this trip to you bend by bend and stop by stop, but I will share some video adventures from my YouTube channel to inform and hopefully inspire others to get outside and have adventures of their own. Enjoy the adventure. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'll take you down here and show you the Green River in just a minute. All right, folks, we are here. Here's Matt, Southwest Backpacker, with me. How about a beautiful day out here, man?
We've got a gorgeous day today, beautiful weather for the whole week. I think we're going to do pretty well. Yeah, looking
I
forward
think so
to
too.
It. Got a lot of good campsites to pick from, and yeah, just getting started.
Yeah, definitely a thumbs up, folks. So stay tuned because we're about to get on the river here in about a half hour or so, and
we're looking forward to it. It's really a much needed vacation. So thanks, Matt, for bringing me again.
You're welcome. Gonna be epic.
As we loaded our gear into the boats while waiting for our turn to launch, the ranger from the Park Service came by and gave a briefing on safety and river regulations, much the same as we'd already received at Texas Riverways. All right, folks, the trailer and van are unloaded. We have all of our gear here now. Somehow has to fit into these 4 canoes, but it always does. We always bring a lot of stuff on the Green River because we're comfort camping. So all this stuff will very soon be into there. And then we'll be out on the river doing a float in just a little bit. Join us as we take a canoe trip of a lifetime from the put-in at Mineral Bottom to the takeout at the Confluence. The time had finally come. It was time for us to float the Green River through Stillwater Canyon in Canyonlands National Park, and we couldn't be more excited. I wanted to float this stretch of the river for years now. First boat's away. Kind of. At the bottom of a cliff at a place called Mineral Bottom, we pushed off in our canoes in the mid-morning white glare. All right, folks. Roger and I are on the water. Pretty heavy boat. Trying to find our balance, but we are rocking and ready to go. This is going to be great. Last 2 boats are uploading back there right now, and we're looking really good. All right, folks, we are officially on the river, heading down from Mineral Bottom. Very first few minutes here, but as you can tell, it's already a beautiful location just to begin with right here. It's just absolutely breathtaking. Shortly after 11:30 a.m., we were all on the water. All right, folks, we are about, 30 minutes, an hour maybe into the paddle. We're just kind of casually floating. But up here to the right, there's something interesting on this rock face up here. Now, you can kind of see right there. It's a rock arch. It's not technically an arch yet. They're called a blind arch. Matt, the Southwest Backpacker, educated me about those. And eventually he says maybe that it will see through to the other side and you'll see sky and it'll be an official arch centuries from now. But you can already see the basic shape. That's pretty cool. So we are on the Green River, having a great time. Beautiful day. Nothing to complain about. It's absolutely perfect. Wow, folks, we are in it. Look at this place, outstanding. It's a casual float. It's nice out. Beautiful views, everything's great. All right, folks, there's just one word I can really say right now to sum up what I'm feeling based on where we're at, what we're doing, what I get to be witness to and part of, and that is wow. Truly is blowing my mind to be out here again. My 3rd time on the Green River, but my first time on this section of the Green River, and my first time with my good buddy Raj, who's up here in the front seat. And we've just been having a great time, man. Tonight we'll get to camp in a while and take a little break, and then maybe later some dinner and some board games, huh?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, folks. Well, stay tuned because the journey continues. And look at those beautiful rocks on the left there. Wow, it's like absolutely breathtaking, this place. And the journey continues. Yes, yes, yes. They're going for it. They're trying to get the little bit of shade.
Canyonlands National Park is a bucket list destination in southern Utah. Canoeing the Green River through the park bumps it up a notch. The river cuts a swath through gold and red sandstone in Canyonlands as it lazily meanders through Stillwater Canyon on its way to the confluence with the mighty Colorado River.
All right, folks. It's been an absolutely wonderful day so far. We're still on the river. However, I believe we are getting fairly close to camp here, probably in the next half hour or so. And beautiful first day. I mean, it seriously has just been amazing. Can't say anything other than that.
And sweaty.
All right, there you go. There's another boat behind me. So yeah, here we are. Green River 2023. All right, folks, we are realizing how much of a commodity that shade is out here. It's a huge difference in temperature, so we're really enjoying this little bit of shade for just a few minutes. And the view's not bad either. Wow. Look at all these layers here, folks. This is just some intense rock. We're just having the greatest time, too. This is such a beautiful journey. Ooh, there's the sun. Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo. And there's the Roger. And there's the Green River.
Stillwater Canyon offers exactly what its name suggests, 52 miles of calm water on Utah's Green River. This beautiful waterway winds through Canyonlands National Park, eventually meeting up with the Colorado River, with these amazing red rock formations. Trips into Stillwater Canyon are ideal for river runners who are interested in a self-guided trip, families, photography enthusiasts, and others interested in spotting wildlife and Utah's unique red rock scenery. Wide, flat spots along the river's edge are called bottoms, and they are usually giving a descriptive name like Mineral Bottom or Hard Scramble Bottom. Sometimes they are named after historic residents such as Tidwell Bottom or Anderson Bottom. Canyons are also named. Horse Thief Canyon is just downstream of Saddle Horse Bottom. Occasionally trails will climb out of the side canyons to the mesa or tabletop. Bighorn Mesa rises above Fort Bottom. Although you could hike out of Fort Bottom up to the White Rim Road, you can't actually access the mesa itself at this point.
Must have been a big beaver, man, because he made a big splash. Oh, nice. He just poked up, huh?
Paddling moderately along the Green River swift current with the red sandstone of the canyons towering high above us, we made it about 13 miles to an area near Tent Bottom in about 3 hours or so. Tent Bottom is an area beneath the sweeping rim of the canyon.
I remember this being a pretty epic spot. I want to go check it out.
I made it, brother. Yeah. At least on the first day.
That was a rough one.
I think I got a little pink, but the sunscreen helped a lot, though.
Yeah, we got a late start.
I think we did 11, 12 miles today. About that. That's what Matt was saying it was going to be. We'll have to look on the map, because I know we went past Fort Bottom, and he mentioned Tent Bottom. I don't know if we're there yet, or if we're coming up to that soon, but yeah, this was an awesome day, but yeah, it feels good to stand up again. Okay, so we got all our canoes here.
We'll start unloading here in a few minutes, but I want to go up and check out the campsite real quick because Matt said this is a really cool spot, and let's go check it out, and we'll come back and get the gear. Oh man, everything's hurting from sitting for the last 4 hours. Oh wow, check that out. Okay, so we got some steppage here to get up, and then back here there are some shade trees, so try to claim a spot that's in the shade if you can. But yeah, this looks awesome. All right, so this is going to be a great campsite. My first time here. Glad these guys shared it with me. This is the trail back down to the canoes. There's Matt, and there's the Green River, looking as beautiful as always. Yes, yes, yes. So down here is where all the canoes are pulled up at the moment. You can see right down in there. So we're gonna get everything unloaded. All right, folks, that's the end of the canoe journey for today. We got all our gear out of the boats and we're bringing it up to the top. I haven't started doing any of mine yet. I needed to take a break. Getting out later in the day and being in the heat and probably not drinking enough water. I got a pretty splitting headache right now. I'm really tired. So I'm taking a break down here by the shoreline and going to rehydrate for a little bit, hang out in the shade, and just kind of regather my senses. And then I'll start bringing my stuff up to the top, set up my shelter, and get all my gear in it for the night. So stay tuned, because, you know, setting up the tent is one of my favorite things, and I'll probably do time lapse of it again. So yeah. All right, while I'm sitting here in the shade and kind of resting and rehydrating, this is my view. Oh man, this is so awesome. Really just enjoying being here and relaxing with my buddies and my friends, and just, you know, 6 more days after this. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. The river offers what is considered by many to be the premier calm water canoe and sea kayak trip in America. From the town of Green River to the confluence with the Colorado, the Green River flows nearly 120 miles through Labyrinth and Stillwater Canyons, tracing the historic route of explorer Major John Wesley Powell. Stillwater Canyon offers the last 52 miles of calm water on the Green River as it winds through Canyonlands National Park and meets the Colorado River. As you leave the launch point at Mineral Bottom, you can look forward to scenery on the grandest of scales. There are a lifetime's worth of off-river exploration possibilities as well. Throughout your trip, the possibility of discovering your own desert paradise is limited only by your desire to find it. All trip time recommendations are based on paddling about 12 to 15 miles each day.
which we found to be a comfortable average for most groups. This pace allows some leisure time during your trip, but additional days should be added if you desire to have days devoted exclusively to hiking or layover camps. We spent much of the afternoon chasing the shade because the temperatures were around 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the sun. There are plenty of spots for tents, but there's not a lot of shade. All right, official camp spot for day one. Look at that. It's beautiful. All right, Matt, the Southwest backpacker, is camping up there tonight. Talk about an epic, awesome camp spot. Let's go up and take a closer look, shall we? He just invited me up. He said, I got to see the view from up here. So we're going to share that with you guys as well. So hold on for 1 second. All right, dude.
Yeah, it's worth it. Especially the way the sunlight's hitting everything right now. It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah, it's, wow. So there's going to be where he sleeps for the night. And he will see this when he wakes up. Look at that. And that's not all. Let's pan to the left. There's more. Wow. Look at that intense southwestern blue sky. So Matt knows how to pick an awesome spot. He's sleeping out under the stars tonight, actually.
Sleep under the stars. I just got my footprint from the tent and my Z-Light camp pad there. And then this is another camp pad that I got from Kilos Gear. And I got a little pump here that I'm going to activate so I don't have to blow up and use my lungs.
Nice.
I'll let this do the work for me.
There you go.
Couple minutes, this will be all taken care of.
All right. All right. He's testing it out. Wow, that is going to be one of the best campsites I think I've ever seen. All right, back here is going to be Campfire Central. So we're all bringing our chairs back and setting up for that to happen here in a little bit. Nice, the walk is coming in handy. Roger brought that, huh?
Indeed.
Nice.
He suggested it. I thought it sounded cool.
After a nice dinner provided by Terry, some yummy tacos, Matt went over the map and determined that tomorrow we would only canoe 8 or 9 miles, which would be much shorter paddle than what we did today.
So 9 miles total, 8 to 9 miles.
Oh, okay.
It'll be way shorter than it was today.
Today we actually canoed about 12 or 13 miles down the Green River, and it was a great start. These map books come in handy and are very helpful for seeing where you've been, where you are, and where you're going.
Usually can't that.
River's okay.
Yeah.
Gear required by your permit. Ask your shuttle company about the rental options for this required gear. Here's a list of stuff that you need to have with you legally to be able to do this trip. 1. A leak-proof toilet system. You can also use a wag bag toilet system and store the used wag bags in a leak-proof container. Look that up online to learn more. You also need a fire pan. Even if you don't want to have a campfire, you are still required to carry a metal fire pan. Some shuttle companies rent them, or a disposable turkey pan will suffice if you don't actually plan on having a fire. If you do have a fire, you also need to pack out your ashes. Following a dinner of steak fajitas, we all decided to relax and just hang out and talk for a while. And of course, it never hurts to have a nice campfire. The campfire experience on this evening was particularly nice. And later, we watched the stars emerge in a moonless sky and welcomed the local bats to their evening bug-eating event. The first night in the backcountry is always a late night for me. Why? Because I'm too excited to sleep.
All right, folks. Great first day. We had a lot of fun out here. Weather was perfect. And now, everybody's kind of heading off to bed, and I'm left here at the campfire alone for a little bit. It's so beautiful, so nice. So I'm going to sign off here and say, love, love, hate, hate. Take care of each other.
Day 1 was now complete, and it was time to retire to our tents for some much-needed shut-eye. It was going to feel great to crash out and sleep for the next 8 hours. The stars were bright, and the camp was peaceful. What a great first day. Good night, folks. Chapter 2. The Incident.
All right, 7 a.m. The earth is coming alive again, and I'm up and getting ready to pack up the boat. But it's a beautiful morning to start with. Day 2, here we come. And it's a beautiful view from up here.
After getting to bed early, I slept very well overnight. And then we were back up at dawn so we could get on the river early. The last forecast we saw said there was going to be strong winds in the early afternoon, and we wanted to get some miles in before then.
All right. Got about an hour to get all this broken down and into the boat so we can get on the river.
Today started as a beautiful morning with cool temps and beautiful skies. The lower temps had me wearing a long-sleeve warm shirt as I prepped my gear for departure. After packing most of my gear, it was now time to break down my tent. This 2-person walrus tent has served me well over the last 20 or so years. It's rugged and spacious enough to be comfortable to sleep in, and I can keep my gear in there too. Gear was being packed. There was a stillness in the air. The morning was indeed beautiful and quiet. It's moments like these that I truly appreciate.
All right, she's coming alive. Sun is just peeking up on top of the rocks there. Everybody's heading toward the boats.
Irish
We continued to bring our gear down to the canoes. Soon, we would all be ready to paddle down the Green River on this wonderful day. All right, folks. Roger and I are on the river. We're just kind of sitting in a little eddy at the moment, waiting for the rest of the crew. And we're all going to go down the river together. I think we got about 8 or 9 miles today, so it's not too bad. And it's a beautiful day already, so you can't really go wrong. Soon the rest of the group would launch, and we would continue our journey together down the Green River on day 2 of 7. It was exciting to be on our way. All right, good morning, Raj. It has begun.
Beautiful morning on the Green River.
Really is. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Morning.
Good morning. I feel better if they lead the way. They know this river a lot better than me. You know, when between the shade and the sun, the temps change big time in the morning. It's like it feels like air conditioning right now. My long sleeve saving me. It's a wool shirt, so it's pretty warm. Well, thanks, Raj, man. I'm so glad we got to share a boat together. And we're only on day number 2. A word of warning. I have to say that this self-guided trip may not be for everyone. It is remote. You need to be prepared for the unexpected. Wind, weather, and water levels can all take this float from easy to what the heck in no time. Knowing this and being prepared is key.
Is that what you guys are looking at on the map? That's where we camped. Oh, that's where we camped.
All right, good howdy, folks. Welcome back to another James Blackburn experience. Today is day 2 of our Green River Adventure 2023. So I guess that would make today October 8th, Sunday. We had a great float yesterday, about 12, 13 miles. Today we're going to do 8 or 9. And then we're going to have a layover camp tomorrow at the spot we're going to today. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Good dinner last night. Fajitas, thanks Terry for doing that. And now we're just casually floating down the Green River. Beautiful. 10-4.
You got debris up here on the left.
Yep, and looks like some shallow stuff there too, huh?
What's not to love about a 52-mile, 7-day flatwater float through ever-deepening canyons painted in shades of gold and red and brown and white? What history buff wouldn't love to follow in the paddle strokes of Major John Wesley Powell's group exploring and mapping the river in the late 1800s? Count me in. The water fills the entire channel, so that nowhere is there room to land. The walls are low but vertical, and as we proceed, they gradually increase in altitude. Running a couple of miles, the river changes its course many degrees toward the east. Just here, a little stream comes in on the right, and the wall is broken down. So we land and go out and take a view of the surrounding country. We are now among the buttes, and in a region the surface of which is naked, solid rock, a beautiful red sandstone. Major John Wesley Powell, July 17, 1869.
Oh, nice. Ooh, it's like my eyes can breathe again. I love the sun, but man, it's bright when it's coming up from above and down from below, you know, with the water shining it back in your face. Yeah, it's like a double shot. All right, folks, as you can tell, the water on the Green River on most days is like glass. It's just beautiful and calm and just easy to float down. However, we've come to a part of the river where there's some rapids, and I'm going to roll through it. They're not major rapids, but any rapids in a canoe are kind of feel major. So we're just going to follow our buddies and hopefully everybody's fine. All right, so you think where Matt and Terry are?
The Green River is fast moving, but it's usually like glass on the surface. It's fairly easy to navigate and be safe most of the time. However, today we would come up to some minor rapids that also had a bend in the river at the same time. Little did we know what was about to happen. We tried our best to move the canoe safely through the river, but had an incident that went bad really quickly. Here is the incident and the follow-up rescue.
The river turns left up there?
You ready to go left because it'll push us into the rock.
Okay, I see it, yep.
You don't want to get pushed into the cliff.
Gotcha.
But we don't want to get stuck on this stuff over here.
Okay,
So
I see it. Yep, thank you. Oh boy, my heart rate is up.
The original video was 21 minutes long. However, I did edit it down to make it more watchable.
So far, so good.
I have to offer my apologies for contributing to a dangerous situation. To all of my 7 friends, who I consider my family, you all pitched in and helped us without question. Thank you all. To Terry, thank you for jumping in the water and coming to our aid. I will always be thankful to you.
Crap. Shit.
When the canoe finally rolled over and we fell in the river,
The first thing I noticed is I go under the water for 18 seconds the first time. The water was moving so fast and it literally pulled me under, and I was struggling to get my head above the surface. For some odd reason, while all this was happening, my right shoulder dislocated partially. This made swimming a lot more difficult, and is one of the reasons I yelled for help. I'll be honest here, folks. I was scared at this point and felt like I was in a bad situation that might not end well.
Okay, my shoulder dislocated.
So let this be a lesson. I should have been wearing my PFD instead of just having it in the canoe with me. It would have helped me get to the surface a lot quicker and helped me stay afloat too. You can see I find my PFD and I put it under my body, and then Terry swims up with another one, and I use that as well.
Help! 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 Oh! 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 All right, let's get to the shore.
The dislocated right shoulder made the entire situation an almost deadly moment. Thankfully, Roger was a strong swimmer and was safe. With the aid of Terry and Roger, we all three kicked our way to a small rock shelf and was able to get the situation under control.
Okay. My shoulder dislocated.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, guys.
I think we were in the water for about 30 minutes, though, before we were able to find a little patch of just dry rock that we could get up and out of the water.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm freaking out a little bit.
Okay.
I'm trying to calm down.
Just
Because everybody was grabbing gear and helping with the rescue, we actually didn't lose a lot of stuff, thankfully. We lost my hat, my sunglasses, a bathroom tent, and most of a cooler full of drinks. We got the cooler back, but it was empty, unfortunately. But we only lost drinks and not food, and most importantly, no one was seriously injured or worse. Everyone was safe, and I popped my shoulder back in while I was in the water, and it was working almost normally again.
Thank you, Terry, for coming and saving us, man.
got to get over.
I'm trying.
Yep.
I'm trying. I'm trying too. I'm kicking.
Come on. Come on. Come on, land.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody take a moment. Let's catch our breath. Okay. James.
Yes.
Your shoulder.
Yeah. It went back in. It didn't come out all the way. It was only a partial dislocation.
Okay, well, thank God.
Sorry, Raj. I tried, man.
It's okay. Happens in the moment. Could have happened to any of us. But we're all going to be alive. And we're not going to starve. Hey, James, get yourself all the way up onto the rock and into the sunshine.
All right, the aftermath. Boat got dumped.
Okay.
Lost all our gear, but I think everybody recovered it for us. And meanwhile, this camera's been rolling for almost 22 minutes, so we got that entire adventure on camera. I'll be honest, folks, that was a little scary. That boat dumped. I went under the water, couldn't touch bottom. Got a shoulder dislocated a little bit out there, but it's back in now. I'm okay. It was scary. I've never yelled for help before, and I had to yell it out because I was having a hard time getting above the water. My life preserver was not on. It was in the boat, but not on when I went under, and that was intense. Yeah, that was intense. That was very intense. Oh, man. After the rescue, we shed our wet clothing and attempted to warm up. Then we bailed out the canoe, and it took us about 45 minutes to do that. After that, we loaded the canoe back up with our gear, and we were on our way. I can tell you I was looking forward to getting off the river and to camp after all that. We would canoe a few more miles before getting to our camp. Thankfully, we would have a layover day to recuperate from today's event. A rest day was going to be awesome.
Okay. There's a sandbar right behind them, James.
Oh, I see it. I think we got all the important stuff, thankfully.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, that's the most important, you're right.
Yeah, most definitely.
Dude, let's go over to the sun.
Yeah, that sounds like shade is not feeling good right now since we're still wet.
I'm cold, man. Enough shade for now.
Let me get us back out to the sun. We need as much of that as we can get right now. Sorry, gentlemen. Yeah, I was shivering cold there too for a little bit. All right, we're back on the river again, on the calm river here. Those rapids got me. I messed up a little bit back there and we got flipped, so everybody's okay, thankfully. And we recovered most of the gear, we think, at least the most important things. Everybody's in good spirits. We're back on the river and we're not too far from camp, so that'll be coming up here in just a little bit. Man, when I went in, I went under. I could not touch the bottom and the current was pulling me and I was having a hard time getting my head back up. And then that shoulder started to come out and I knew I was in a troublesome situation there. I was like, for a brief second, I thought this is how it's all gonna end. I went under and then I grabbed the boat and it pulled me back under. I went under twice and I was really struggling to get back up. That was a near-death situation there for a second. But this awesome team of folks we have, man, they really saved us. Pulled together. So that helped a little bit, huh?
It was a good thing about it.
I was planning on getting in the water, just not like that. Yeah, that's pretty wicked. Probably cause a little tidal wave, huh? Hey, Michael. Can I pull over near you? Yes. I'm sorry, I just feel a little safer.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm closer.
You guys had a moment, you know, it's going to take a little bit.
It's going to take a little bit for me to get my confidence back.
For sure.
Because I'm the one who screwed it up, so. But thank you, man. You were just a floating gear island. I caught a glimpse for like a second, but I was mostly trying to save myself.
I had one piece of finger around a piece of gear.
Looks like a nice spot.
Yeah, great for a layover day for sure. Okay, folks. After that incident of getting dumped in the water, you can see I got a lot of gear here hanging out on bushes because a lot of things got wet. So we got my rug, sleeping pads, tent, sleeping rain fly back there for the tent, and then here's my backpack that got soaked as well, so I'm going to take everything out of there and get it in the sun. And it looks like a pretty awesome spot. We'll have a layover day here, which will be nice just to recover from today's incident. That was really, really intense. So this will be my camp spot for 2 days. Looks pretty sweet. It's in the full sun right now, but hopefully that'll change in a couple of hours. And down below, everybody else is getting set up. Most likely we will have base camp down there where chairs and campfire go. What else can I say? We survived somehow. All right, folks, I've been at camp for a couple hours. Everything got soaked. So over here in the sun, just have everything laying out that got water soakamified, and we're letting it all dry out, including over here, rug, sleeping pads. Back there by the pads are whole first aid kit that got soaked. So been here a couple hours, still drying things out, but I'm about to put together my sleeping area and get that going. And then I'm going to change these boots. As you can see, they are muddy and wet still, so I need a fresh pair of socks and a fresh pair of shoes, which I'll get here in just a few minutes. All right, lots of stuff laying out and drying. It'll probably be the rest of today before everything else is completely dried out, but at least I got my shelter going and everything in there is dry. That yellow bag inside there did not get wet at all, so yeah. All right, folks, we've been at camp now a few hours. Everybody's down here sitting in the shade doing some board games, some card games, and I'm going back up to my tent because I have to change my boots. The rest of me dried out, but my boots and socks are still wet. I have extra socks, I have extra shoes, and that'll be pretty nice. So yeah, why don't we get going on that? Yeah. Things are still drying out. Some of it's dried, and I'll start packing that away here in a little bit, but some of it's still pretty wet. And everything got wet. Even my wallet, cash, credit cards, everything. But we're recovering from it, and we're at this camp for 2 days, today and tomorrow. So tomorrow morning I'm going to be able to sleep in late and really take a day off and not have to paddle. And I am really looking forward to that. Just a nice sleep-in day tomorrow. All right, so you saw where my tent was. Now I'm heading down to the river. Just want to go down and take in the view before the sun sets, before it starts getting cold out. On the way, we're going to stop and look at a couple things though. First thing is, what is this on the ground? It's got a tube on it and goes up to another bag. This is how Matt and Terry filter the water out here. They get a bucket of water, collapsible bucket. They put this stuff called alum in it and causes all the sediment to sink to the bottom quicker. And then they put that water into the red bag. Red means stop, don't drink it. It's not filtered yet. And they have it going through a filter here and another filter down here. And gravity is feeding it all the way down to this green bag. Green means go, you can drink this, it's safe. So we don't even have to pump water with a filter because these guys have it figured out by doing it with gravity. Much appreciated, guys, really awesome. Okay, down here, canoes are all parked, as you can see. Taking the bigger view. Okay, let's go down to the river. Here's the collapsible bucket of water. And you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, you can kind of see there's some sediment in the bottom. So all the dirt of the water has sunk down to there. Still not safe to drink, it has to be filtered first, but these guys have it down. They've been doing this for over 20, maybe 30 years now. And they have the filtering, the traveling, everything just perfect. Today was the only thing that wasn't perfect, and that was my fault. I have never been in any serious rapids before in a canoe, and it got me a little bit, I'll be honest with you. It was a tough thing that happened today, and everybody's okay. We didn't lose anything major. I lost my sunglasses and lost my hat, and we lost some of our drinks, but we didn't lose food. We didn't lose people. That's the most important thing. Everybody's okay. Here you go. And there's a little bit of rapids here, but it's not as bad as the rapids that we hit earlier that got us into trouble. And we're gonna be going to the right not tomorrow morning, I'm sorry. We have a layover day tomorrow, so we're going to be at this camp for 2 days. But then the following day after that, we will be canoeing down this another 10 or 12 miles to our next camp. So there you go. Awesome. Beautiful. Righteous. Yeah, this place is incredible. Really beautiful. I truly appreciate the beauty here, as well as the danger, because we are in the wilderness, really far from civilization. We have to be careful every day so we can have a fun, safe trip. Today was my second near-death experience. It's easy to say that out loud a few hours later, but when it was happening, it was intense. I looked back at the video tonight, and the boat tips over. I go in, and I'm underwater for 18 seconds before I came back up. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're under the water and you're trying to get to the surface and you're under for 18 seconds struggling to get back to the top, it felt like an eternity. I mean, I was struggling. My life preserver was in the boat. I didn't have it on, and the current was strong and it was pulling me under. The video I watched clearly shows me going under the water 18 seconds, coming back up in just all the gear from the canoe floating. I come up right in the middle of it, and you can tell I am struggling, and I go back under again and then come back up a few seconds later. I mean, I don't think it would be a lie to say that I almost drowned today. The closest I've ever come. It was really a struggle, and what made it harder is my right shoulder dislocated a little bit. It didn't come out all the way, thankfully, but in the water, while I'm struggling to get to the top, this thing came out a little bit, and all of a sudden I couldn't use my right arm hardly. I had to push through the pain and somehow swim with one hand and my feet and get out of the water and grab something that could help me float, because the current was strong. It was pulling me under. It was close. I mean, in the video, you've already seen it. I mean, this video's been edited and put together, and you're watching it in chronological order, so you saw what happened earlier today already. And you know it was intense. And I'm a little embarrassed in some ways, because I got us into a troublesome situation and I couldn't get us out of it. I tried really hard and it just didn't go well. once the boat tipped to the left and took on water, that was it. It was over. There was no more steering that boat at that point. It was just heavy piece of metal. I had to yell for help. I think it's the first time in my life I ever yelled out help, because I knew I was going under the water. I was having a hard time getting to the surface. My shoulder was a little bit dislocated. I knew I was in a troublesome situation. And the water was going so fast and pushing us downriver that it was just really hard to feel any control. And it was way over my head. It was really deep. And that made it scarier, because at least if the water were shallow, I could have stood up and I would have felt like I had some control over the situation, but I didn't. The water was deep and it was moving fast, and it was in control of the situation. I was just a bystander who happened to go into the water. I got us in a troublesome situation, and I feel really bad about it. But the team came together. Instantly, they were over by us, people coming in and grabbing gear and trying to help us. I mean, that was the positive, uplifting part, is we all got to practice a little bit of water rescue, and everybody did really well. I think I'm the only one who panicked. In the heat of that situation, though, I'm going under the water. I mean, I'm struggling to get up to the surface. Yeah, it was scary. All right, one last look at what's left of the sunset on the rocks over there. It's a cool spot here. Let me back out. You can see we're on a big sandbar up here. You could technically camp right here if you wanted to, but the better spots are back here. Oh, first of all, here, check this out. It's an inlet off the main river, and it comes back here. There's a little pond at the end. And that's where we were able to park the boats. They're all tied off and looking safe. And then back there in the middle, under those trees in the center there, that's where base camp is at. And most of our tents are down there too. It's a nice shady spot. Sun's down, so it's going to be shady the rest of the day now, which is nice. It's going to get dark here in a little while. And there's our camp spot. At least that's base camp. That's where food, campfire, drinks, all that kind of stuff's going to happen. And the tents are kind of dispersed around there. All right, so let's walk in to camp. All right. I'm glad I got a couple days here to bounce back from the incident today, because I really need it. Getting on the river after that incident and floating down it again, every time the boat rocked, it was like my heart skipped a beat. It just scared the heck out of me. Of course, I'm going to have elevated levels of different things going on, only because the incident only happened a few hours ago. Maybe in a couple days when we get on the river again, I'll feel a little bit more relaxed about it. All right, there's the camp walkthrough. Matt's up there doing tamales tonight for dinner. That's going to be pretty cool. It's a big wash here, but none of us are sleeping down here in case any rain happens or a little flash flood. All our tents are up here in the trees. Nice safe spot. Matter of fact, you can kind of see mine in center frame there between those weird bent trees. Right back there. All right, Matt's got the tamales going. These are always yummy. Gonna have some apples with them too, huh?
Yeah, some apples with them too.
Nice. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for making dinner tonight. I appreciate it.
No, you're right.
A little different. We don't have the corn husk on them.
Phone, but I didn't want to do
Hoping
it
this
way.
will work out
There's a lot
okay.
of pictures that I've already taken.
But we'll make do. I think this will work.
All right, folks. It says it right there. It's the party stack. Bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba dum. Party stack. And this is technically a party stack too.
Tonight for dinner was tamales and black beans. Thanks to Matt for an excellent dinner. Time for another excellent campfire experience. This is always one of my favorite parts of camping. The smell of the campfire is nice. That I truly enjoy. Yes, yes. But even more so, I love the conversations we have around the campfire. It's a great way to get to know folks better, and it's also very relaxing. Family, friends, and a campfire under the night skies? Yes, please. This is good medicine. Tomorrow is a layover day, so that means I can sleep late. Yay! The stars were bright and the camp was peaceful. What a great second night. Today we canoed about 12 or 13 miles down the Green River. Day 2 was now complete, and it was time to retire our tents for some much needed shut-eye. It's going to feel great to crash out and sleep for the next 8 to 10 hours.
Alright folks, day 2 is behind us. I'm in the tent, as you can see. About ready to go to sleep here in just a little bit. Gotta get into my night clothes and get my sleeping bag ready to go. It's back here behind me. I just gotta roll it out. And gonna get some sleep. Today was intense, I won't lie. So we're gonna call it a night, and I'm gonna crash out. Love, love, hate, hate. Take care of each other. It's about 7 a.m. Sun is starting to come up. Nice, cool morning. Beautiful. Very calm and nice. Just can't complain. Look how awesome this place is.
Chapter 3, Layover Day, an historic hike. Greetings and salutations, my friends. It's another beautiful day here on the Green River in the Canyonlands Park in Utah. It's a layover day, and I get to sleep a little bit later before getting up and enjoying this beautiful day. These layover days are pure gold, especially after the incident yesterday. It's really nice to have a day off the river to relax and later take a hike to explore this beautiful landscape.
Alright, good howdy folks. Welcome to another James Blackburn experience. Today is day 3 on the Green River 2023, and it's a layover day. And as you can see, I'm in this awesome canyon area, and the sun is just starting to hit out here. Just a few minutes ago it came up over the rocks, and down at camp it hasn't even come up yet at all. It's still nice and cool down there, and it's already 9:30 in the morning. But I had to come out here and just, clear my head in the morning, enjoy a little walk, and take in some of this beautiful scenery all around me. This is really, truly incredible. I should probably address a little bit of the incident yesterday really quick, just to get it out of my head for the day. There was a near-death experience yesterday. I'm coming to terms with it. I think the PTSD that was triggered by it is starting to normalize. My brain's feeling better, not as nervous or anxious. I'll be okay to get back on the river tomorrow. I really came out here to just get some sun on my body in the early morning because it feels nice. I am going to head back to camp and get some breakfast. Drank some water already this morning, but I still feel like I need more. And a good breakfast on a layover day like this is always nice, you know. Kind of fuel up the day for the hikes we're going to do later. So stay tuned. All right, folks, time to get out my trusty MSR, which has a stove, and this is the stove here, and the fuel all come in the same pot, so it's a pretty cool little backpacking thing. I haven't used it yet on the trip, so we're gonna make some classic Libby's corned beef hash. That's gonna be so yummy.
While my breakfast was heating up, I checked my solar panel and battery. This is the setup I use to keep my camera and Garmin device charged up for 7 days. Breakfast smelled yummy, and I was hungry and ready to eat soon. The weather was so nice, I didn't even have to wear a long sleeve. I sat here and enjoyed this place and this nice morning air. Time for breakfast. It's nice to chow down and not be in a hurry. The weather was perfect, and I was enjoying my time here at camp. While I was eating my breakfast, I was blown away by the view. This was a great campsite, and the day was already beautiful. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and I was already a couple hundred feet into it. I was feeling good, feeling strong, and ready to explore this beautiful and historic area.
All right, folks, we are hiking over to a panel of petroglyphs. Matt knows exactly where this place is, and I'm excited to see something of a historical nature like this. It's going to be awesome. It's a pretty well-worn trail here. It's easy to follow. Obviously, it gets a lot of traffic.
Matt was taking us to see some petroglyphs that he had found before when he camped here in the past. I was excited to hike with my friends. No rush, just a relaxed hike through the desert. I had food and water with me and was ready to hike for a couple hours or more. First, we will hike to the petroglyphs. Then we will hike to a nearby slot canyon. This day was perfect, and I figured it'll only get better. I am a truly fortunate person to be able to go to places like this with some really great folks. Holy wow! We turned off the main trail and started to head up.
I'd like to take this time to thank you folks who tune in and watch my video adventures. You are all truly appreciated. It makes me happy to be able to share some of my life with you all. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. Blue skies, warm sun, good friends, and a hike. Can it get any better than this? We shall see. This was what we were hiking to see. Crazy part about this is it is way off the ground. So centuries ago somebody climbed up there and made petroglyphs. How neat is that? Matt offered an idea of how they got to that spot on the wall, and it makes great sense to me. He said that the sand dunes out here move all the time. And when this rock art was created, there could have been a sand dune up against the cliff. After a while here, we continued on our way, back down this sandy side trail to the bottom. Then we hiked to a neat slot canyon nearby. I enjoyed hiking in soft sand like this. It feels so nice under the feet, much better than concrete for sure.
I mean, you'll get in there, come around, and it just kind of walls up and you can't go any further. But it is kind of cool.
Well, and those buttes up above, man, this is outstanding. All right, folks, we are now hiking in a dried up creek bed. You kind of hear it crunching under my feet. And we saw the petroglyphs a few minutes ago. That was amazing. Now Matt is taking us down to a little slot canyon. And then afterwards, we'll hike back to camp, maybe do some board games this afternoon. But yeah, this is most excellent. This stuff has been here forever. It's always changing and growing. Yeah, it'll probably be shaded, huh? I was thoroughly enjoying this hike. It felt like a mix of nature and history. Being here is almost like going back in time. These canyons have been here forever. It's an honor to get to explore places like this, and I truly appreciate every moment. All right, we're at the opening of the slot canyon. I know it doesn't look like a slot canyon yet, but trust me, when we get a little further back, we'll start to notice that. Matt found us some nice little shade here, so sitting down, gonna have a little bit of water, maybe a little energy bar, and then continue back in time.
In this section. A lot to explore, but it's hot and dry.
Yeah, it's a big canyon for sure. That's some serious overhang there. Nice shade too. I didn't know if it went through, that's why I went around it. But so back there, folks, that's the slot canyon. We're getting pretty close. Be there in a couple more minutes. All right, folks, we're a little further into the canyon, and the one thing I noticed over here to my left is a blind arch, and a pretty good one at that. Let's go up and see it a little bit closer. When the mud dries up out here, it kind of looks almost like shards of pottery. It's really neat. This one's still wet, so recently there was definitely still water in here. All right, here's the beginning of a blind arch, the one I just mentioned a couple minutes ago. Just thought I'd show you from another angle. And you know, it's a little hot out here today, probably close to 80. So when the shade comes up, we are all really happy because the temperature changes so much. Oh boy, that feels good. It's like a 10-degree drop in temp there. Wow, dude. This is some serious canyon. And it feels like the air conditioning's on in here, which is really nice. So that's the end of the line where the water is, unless you want to swim. And
Oh yeah, see, I was able to walk down into this bowl last time.
so there's a lot more water now, huh?
This would be swimmable. I remember how deep that shit was. It's deeper than what they were saying.
Wow.
Yeah.
And look at all these animal tracks down here. Every critter, looks like deer maybe?
Deer,
Maybe a few other things too.
goats.
Yeah, so they come down here and they get themselves a nice drink. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how deep that is and
Oh, dude, that is
how much further back does this go even? Wow. That's some serious water there. All right, folks. Well, the canyon ends here for us, but it looks like maybe you could squeeze through a little further if we wanted to swim, but we don't want to do that right now. The water's a bit funky, but I'm blown away by all these animal tracks here. Every animal in the neighborhood comes down here and gets water, it looks like. That's pretty cool. What are the holes over here from, Matt? From just water or something, or what would cause that? Like these over here, yeah.
Yeah, point your camera straight up. That's where it's coming from.
Wow.
That ledge up.
So over the years, water's just dripped and formed all these different.
You're gonna see that in Jasper Canyon, and it's wild. I mean, they look like 100,000 little hobbit holes everywhere.
After that wonderful hike, I headed back to camp. I had a few things I needed to do, and I was feeling energetic after the hike. Plus, the energy of this place was giving me a second wind, and I was feeling happy and content.
All right, we made it back to camp. Some of the folks are down there board gaming. I'm going up to my tent to kind of freshen up a little bit and take off my backpack. Good hike. That was an absolutely wonderful hike between the petroglyphs and the slot canyon. That was amazing. All right, another classically beautiful day here on the Green River. Down here we have a couple of our canoes, and everybody's canoes are all dried out except for ours. After our incident yesterday, there's still some water down in there. So I'm gonna get in there with the sponge, get the rest of that water out of there and let this thing dry overnight so we have a nice, dry, tidy canoe for in the morning. So, yep, that's my little afternoon thing, and then I'll go back up to camp and I'll start packing up my gear up there and kind of pre-pack anything that I don't need tonight and bring it down to the boat to make it packing, in the morning a little quicker. it's not perfect, but it's a lot less wet than it was a few minutes ago. So incredibly quiet up here. Beautiful.
Back at camp, and all is calm and good in the world, at least right here and now.
Okay, afternoon project before dinner is to pack up all this stuff and get this tarp cleaned off. I want to get all this stuff organized and ready for tomorrow so that I can bring this tote down to the canoe and sort of pre-pack it, have it down there and ready to go. I want any gear that I have up here to be packed up properly and taken down to the canoe. Anything that I'm not going to be using tonight, that is. I'm going to try to pack this stuff up before the sun gets back on my camp here, because right now it's shaded and it's much easier to work when the sun isn't beating on you. So yeah. All right, fast forward about an hour or so. Everything off the tarp is packed into this backpack and this tote, so pretty much ready to go on both these items. However, I still have my bedding and clothing in here that I'll take out here in a little bit, and of course the chair needs to be broken down later tonight after we have our campfire experience.
A little while later, and it was getting close to dinner time. Tonight was Roger's turn to cook, and he never disappoints. Thanks, Raj. Spaghetti is a classic, but it tastes even better out here in the wilderness with my friends. Pile on some Parmesan cheese, and yes, please, yummy! I was literally a happy camper, and I was enjoying everything about this trip. As evening approached, we knew it was time to use the trusty fire pan and have us a campfire experience. As usual, this is one of my favorite things about camping. Campfires are good medicine.
Did you guys get full?
Yeah, thank you, man. That was yummy.
Yeah, that was delicious, man. Thank you.
All right, folks. Had a wonderful dinner provided by Raj. Spaghetti. It was so yummy and filling. And now everybody's kind of prepping gear to get ready to canoe tomorrow morning. I prepped a bunch of gear and brought it down to the canoe already. And now I'm just sitting here enjoying the campfire. It's always a beautiful time.
The stars were all out in full force as we started to retire to our campsites for the night. Time to get some shut-eye and rest up. Tomorrow will be another float day, and we needed to be rested for the 10 or 12 miles of canoeing we will do. Now off to my trusty walrus tent to snuggle down in my sleeping bag and get some rest. Look at my little home. It's always so inviting. This tent has never failed me. It has always been watertight and out of the wind. Makes me smile just to see this. Good night, folks. Love, love. Hate, hate. Take care of each other. After getting to bed early, I slept very well overnight. And then we were back up at dawn so we could get on the river early. Chapter 4. Back on the river again.
All right, good morning, folks. Well, it's day 4. We're all packing up, and it's early morning, about 6:30. Still kind of dark out. It's a good day to get on the river and float about 9 or 10 miles. Welcome back to another James Blackburn experience. I've been up since about 5. Didn't plan on getting up that early, but Mother Nature woke me up, meaning I had to visit the restroom. And I'm glad I did. Got that out of the way. And now it's a beautiful morning out. I'm 100% packed and everything is in the boat except for my backpack. So Doing pretty dang good. Good start to a beautiful day. Wow, look at that. Well, goodbye to this beautiful spot here in just a little bit. Awesome.
The last forecast we saw said there was going to be strong winds in the early afternoon, and we wanted to get some miles in before then. Today started as a beautiful morning with cool temps and beautiful skies. The lower temps had me wearing a long-sleeve warm shirt as I prepped my gear for departure. After packing most of my gear, it was now time to break down my tent. Gear was being packed. There was a stillness in the air. The morning was indeed beautiful and quiet. It's moments like these that I truly appreciate. We continued to bring our gear down to the canoes. Soon, we would all be ready to paddle down the Green River on this wonderful day. As we packed up the last of our gear, I was attempting to keep myself calm as the river journey was going to begin soon. My mind was on the incident from 2 days ago, and I was definitely feeling nervous about our river time today. We were up at dawn and on the river by 7:30 a.m. for another early morning float. I really enjoy being on the river at this time of the day. The temps are nice, and there's a lot more shade to begin with. But I have to admit I'm nervous about getting back on the river again. I was feeling very anxious, and my heart rate was racing. I did not feel ready to float again. But there was no choice. We had to get some miles done today. I knew after we floated for a while, I might calm down and enjoy the canoeing again. We were off, and the adventure had begun. Soon the rest of the group would launch. It was exciting to be on our way. Other helpful tips. The wind can be gale force in the canyons and tends to pick up in the afternoon. We recommend getting up early and getting some miles under your belt. That way if the wind picks up, you won't be left with 10 plus miles to paddle into a headwind. Either way, be mentally prepared for this challenge. On all 3 trips that I've done here over the years, I've gotten a major headwind coming in on at least one day every time I've ever been there. So it is a real thing to think about and be prepared for.
How you doing, brother?
My heart's racing. I'm shaking a little bit. I know I shouldn't be.
Just calm down. We're good, man.
I think once we're on the water for a little bit, I'll feel...
It's okay, dude. I was a little bit nervous, too. Still am. That's fucking normal.
Thanks, brother.
We're good, man. We're good, James.
Yeah, we're on a nice calm stretch here.
Enjoy the float, dude.
I agree. Oh, so quiet and calm out here right now. Okay, my muscles stopped shaking. I feel like the body's normalizing. And I feel like the boat is definitely more well-balanced than the first 2 days, even though it's still not perfect.
And it's a lot lighter, too.
And a lot lighter, yeah. There's less food, less water. That cooler's not full of drinks anymore and ice.
Let's go a little bit more that way.
I think even my heart rate's starting to decline finally too, and we've only been out here for about 4 or 5 minutes, and I'm already feeling a little better. So I had everything down here in the boat by 6:30, believe it or not, except for my backpack, which had my food and stuff in it. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Okay. I'll just steer for a bit.
Yeah.
I'm glad I came down yesterday and sponged the rest of this boat out, because there was still like an inch of water in the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And it just feels so much better to not have any liquid in there at the moment.
That was a great idea.
Well, that's what's great for layover days is not only can you do a hike or a board game and just chill, but you can fix or repair or repack things. Like those last 2 days at Jasper Canyon are going to be outstanding, I'm sure.
So I'm sure there's got to be a name for that feature right there.
For sure, yeah, because it's different than the rest. Round with that top on it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
I'm comfortably warm now.
Nice. Yeah, that does feel nice right now. It's feeling really good. Pretty dang awesome.
As we continued our float down the Green River, my nerves improved quite a bit, and instead of being nervous, I was really starting to enjoy the canoe adventure today. I did wear my life vest today, and I will continue to do so anytime I'm on the water. And let this be a lesson, folks. The reason why they make these things is because we're supposed to use them. They help with safety quite a bit.
Yep, and now we're just following the foam. I'm just going to keep steering us for a bit, let those guys get a little further ahead. Get us turned back into the foam.
The best time to float the Green River from Mineral Bottom to the confluence is in the spring or fall. Temperatures are too hot during summer to spend much time exploring side canyons off of the river. We chose early October for this canoe trip down the Green River, and it was on the verge of being hot. Winters are usually too cold to canoe here, so, spring and fall, check it out online. Water levels can be too high in early spring to find good campsites. Of course, conditions change from year to year, so you'll have to do some research. Check out resources for water flow and weather forecasts when it's closer to your date of the trip.
Okay. Gotcha.
Follow the foam.
Follow the foam. If I see it up there, they're going right into it. Yeah, that's really an impressive rock for sure. All of it.
Dinosaur days.
Yeah. Yep, some dinosaurs definitely saw this rock. It was slightly shaped differently back then, but yeah. Pretty impressive.
There's some shallow stuff over there, James. It looks like.
Okay, I see it, yep. I'll just keep following Terry and Matt.
Yep, great idea.
You'll need a minimum of 3 days just to paddle this section of the river. It is always advisable to add an extra day in case you run into weather, which is likely. Also factor in a number of extra days you'll need for off-river adventures. You've had time to read the guidebooks. What sites do you want to see along the way? Do you want to spend more than one night at a campsite? Maybe have a layover? We took a week for this trip from Mineral Bottom to the confluence because we love hiking and exploring the area. Plus, we wanted 2 of the days to be layover days. One toward the beginning of the trip and the other one towards the end. Layover days were pure gold.
I can't remember who did it, but it was a theme that was like, rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby, tip the boat, don't tip the boat. Oh,
Yeah, I do remember that song.
Huh?
I do remember that song. And it's appropriate to right now, so I will be careful, I promise.
Important notes about water. The water in the Green River is very silty and will muck up your water filter. There's also cattle upstream in the river corridor. For that reason, it's recommended to carry water for the trip. At 1 gallon per person per day, your water weight adds up, and a canoe is the best way to transport water on this trip. However, if you'd rather filter your water, that is possible with the help of something called alum. You also want to carry alum with you to settle the sediment before purifying your water. Alum helps the particles in the bucket of river water to settle to the bottom of the bucket quicker.
I'm not an expert on this, so look it up online to learn more. Or, better yet, learn from a friend who is an expert and experienced in the matter. My good friends Matt and Terry taught me, and they have been making it work perfectly for over 20 years now. You'll need containers for fresh drinking and cooking water. Even if you have a water filter, the river water is always silty and cannot be filtered easily. Be prepared to use at least 1 gallon per person per day with extra for cooking meals. Here's a cool tip. If you freeze fresh water in empty jugs and use it in your cooler's ice, when they thaw, the water can be used for drinking and cooking. Plus, you got a piece of block ice that will last in the cooler for several days.
Let's stay away from the rock. Let's head out this way.
Sounds good to me.
River right.
I am very happy to do that.
Not too much. Let's follow Mikey's trail. It's shallow out there. Follow Mikey's trail.
Getting the permit. The canoe trip from Mineral Bottom to the confluence travels through Canyonlands National Park. A permit is required. You can get the permit online, in person at the Backcountry Permit Office in Moab, or from the Canyonlands National Park Visitor Center when they are open. Note, if you are out for a longer adventure and choose to extend this trip to include Labyrinth Canyon for a roughly 120-mile trip starting upstream at Green River State Park or Crystal Geyser or Ruby Ranch, you'll also need a valid BLM permit. Soon we would find a campsite and be off the river until tomorrow. I was looking forward to camp and the beautiful scenery that would be there. Temperatures in southern Utah can be unbearably hot. The good news is you're on the river, so you can always take a dip. But if camping in 100-degree weather doesn't sound like a good time, save your trip for the cooler fall months. We were there in October, where it was mostly 70s during the day and 50s at night, although a couple days we did get up into the lower 80s. Monsoon season is mid-July to early September in Utah. This brings afternoon storms that can result in flash flooding. If you float during this time, just make sure you choose your campsites carefully and avoid any washes. So when is the best time? It's nice to float the Green River from September through November. But be prepared for cooler evenings and colder mornings. Permits are free and can be obtained by emailing the permit form to the BLM or directly from your shuttle company. Make sure you bring a copy of your permit with you. There are no designated campsites along the river, which means below Mineral Bottom you can camp wherever you want, but it's first come, first serve. All right, folks, we landed at Camp 3 on day 4, and look at this awesome view. Just beautiful, outstanding, awesome. All right, folks, day 4. We're at Dead Horse Canyon. We're going to be camping here tonight, kind of just chilling out here in the shade above the Green River, as you can see down below. And I'm looking at a formation called Turk's Head. So if you Google that, you can look up this rock formation online. I'm sure there's already pictures of it somewhere. And look it up. That's exactly what I'm looking at right now. So I believe it's that one big mesa formation right there in the middle with the 2 big rocks on top and the crumbly stuff underneath. So look it up online when you get a chance, and you can see what I'm seeing when you're seeing it and I'm seeing it at the same time. All right, folks. Out there is the Green River. It's flowing from the left to the right, going downstream, of course. And the neat thing about it is sometimes there's a little inlet where you can pull your canoes into and park for the night. So we have all our canoes in here, and we are tied off and ready to go. We'll get these things loaded up in the morning for one more day of canoeing tomorrow before we have a layover day. But what I really came down here to do was, well, you can see there's gear here. Not all this needs to go up to the top, so we're leaving it by the boats for now, and we'll just reload it in the morning. What I really wanted to show you was the little trail that goes back up to where the campsite is. So let's go check that out, shall we? So yeah, this is a trail that over the years has been carved out by people to get up to the camp spot. So you can tell it's like right on the edge here. So just watch your feet, don't trip. Otherwise you're going to take a fall down in the water. Little turnage here. And we're going to come out into a clearing here where there's lots of sun at the moment. Okay, there you go. Lots of good camp spots up here. Not much shade, unfortunately, but that'll change here in a little bit. Folks are down there hanging out in the shade. And over here, well, this will be the kitchen area, of course. Howdy. And then down here, in this little flat, sandy spot to the right, I'm going to put my tent in here once this is in the shade, because it's like 82 out here, which is not bad, but in the direct sunshine it's pretty toasty. But you can see the shadow is slowly growing, and here in a little bit we'll probably all be in the shade, and then we can get camp set up and ready to go. Some interesting rocks up here. Apparently this red stuff is called Jasper, so I'm going to look that up online and learn a little bit more about it. Tomorrow we're canoeing about 10 miles to a place called Jasper Canyon. And I'm sure there's lots of jasper in there too, but this canyon's not hurting for it either. All that red stuff is jasper. That's pretty cool. Very unusual rock formations here. Alright, there's the Green River. Camp down below. Not below the Green River, it's above the Green River, but below where I'm at. Awesome. Here's an interesting plant out in the desert. I'm not sure what this is, but it's so delicate looking for such a harsh environment. Leave no trace. With this being a backcountry trip, you should familiarize yourself with the principles of leave no trace before you go. As mentioned before, you will need to carry out all solid human waste in your toilet system. Also, please pack out all of your toilet paper. For peeing, you should go in the river. Don't trample or camp on vegetation. Know how to recognize and avoid stepping on the cryptobiotic soil. Don't carve your name into rock walls. And don't touch any petroglyphs you might find. For doing dishes, remove all food scraps, lick the plate clean, and then use biodegradable soap to wash. Pack out all food scraps, including apple cores, orange peels, and banana peels. For more information on Leave No Trace as it pertains to canoe trips, search online for the American Canoe Association website. What an awesome canyon. Wish I had more than one day here. I'd love to get back there and really explore, but just too tired right now. Look at all that chamisa. It's everywhere and it's in full bloom here. It's already out of bloom in Albuquerque, probably because we're higher elevation. There are a lot of side attractions and hikes to check out, so look those up online and check out your maps. I highly recommend taking a GPS and loading it with a map of the river miles so you can keep track of your progress. The website has a GPS file you can download, as well as a list of high water campsites that you should make note of before your trip. I also recommend a Garmin or other satellite device. This allows for you to stay connected with loved ones, and it has an SOS option just in case you have an emergency situation. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and I was already a couple hundred feet into it. I was feeling good, feeling strong, and ready to explore this beautiful and historic area. Now, when I was on the Green River, I didn't really experience a lot of bugs, but I have heard that the mosquitoes in Labyrinth Canyon and Stillwater Canyon can and will be awful during certain times of the year. The bugs start to come out typically when the water levels drop to a point where the beaches start to be revealed. This typically happens sometime in June. Then the bugs will stick around to mid or late July. However, we were there in early October and didn't have too many bugs to deal with. Mostly just some flies and gnats, and that wasn't even all day long, it was just occasional. Time for the search for wood. Terry and Matt are already down there by the Chamisa. I'm heading down now. See what kind of firewood we can find out here, because it's not very much. It's been picked pretty darn clean. Tonight was my turn for dinner, and I was in the mood for some comfort food. Chili dogs and mac and cheese. Yummy! I have lived in the Southwest since 1998, and I never get tired of seeing these amazing sunsets. Holy wow! Time for another excellent campfire experience. This is always one of my favorite parts of camping. The smell of the campfire is nice. That I truly enjoy. Yes, yes. But even more so, I love the conversations we have around the campfire. It's a great way to get to know folks better, and it's also very relaxing. Family, friends, and a campfire under the night skies? Yes, please. This is good medicine. I struggled with falling asleep at first because this area really seemed to hold the heat, and it didn't cool down until later in the evening. But eventually I did fall asleep, and the temperatures were just right for a good snooze overnight. Love, love. Hate, hate. Take care of each other. Good morning. Day 4 on the Green River. Beautiful morning so far. Birds are singing, sun's coming up. Who could ask for anything more? Chapter 5, Jasper Canyon Camp. On the river, I'm at a loss for words, and under a canopy of stars, walls of sandstone, murky water, and twisting side canyons. Memories become lost in time, one day blending into another, and I forget some things but remember the important stuff. Like the days and the nights, and where we pitched our tent and saw ancient ruins, the friendships and nature, and the great meals we had along the way. plus some of the most amazing sunrises. It's moments like this that make me truly happy to be alive. Look at all this beauty, folks. Truly good medicine. The morning was indeed beautiful and quiet. As we packed up the last of our gear, I was attempting to keep myself calm as the river journey was going to begin again soon. My mind was still on the incident from a few days ago, and I was definitely nervous about our river time today, just like yesterday. We were off, and the adventure had begun. It was exciting to be on our way. Other helpful tips. The wind can be gale force in the canyons and tends to pick up in the afternoon. We recommend getting up early and getting some miles under your belt. That way, if the wind picks up, you won't be left with 10 plus miles to paddle into a headwind. Either way, be mentally prepared for this challenge. On all 3 trips that I've done here over the years, I've gotten a major headwind coming in on at least one day every time I've ever been there. So it is a real thing to think about and be prepared for. On this morning, we were not so lucky with the wind. It did come in the afternoon, but it was also here now in the early morning. It made the paddle a little more difficult, and we had to make sure we kept the canoe straight in the waves. Obviously, we did not want another incident. Safety was in the front of our minds. We worked hard on these miles today and had to stay focused. We came together as a team and knew we had a safe float ahead of us. It was going to be a challenge, but aren't some of the best things in life a challenge? We were up for it and on our way down the Green River again. As we did our float down the Green River, my nerves improved quite a bit, and instead of being nervous, I was starting to enjoy it again, just like yesterday. And of course, I did wear my life vest again today, and will continue to do so anytime I'm on the water. Now for a little bit about the history. In the summer of 1869, a one-armed Civil War veteran named John Wesley Powell put together a 10-man expedition to explore and chart the Green River and Colorado River from Wyoming to the Grand Canyon. Over 99 days and close to 1,000 miles, he and his men navigated unmapped canyons and plunging rapids, enduring searing heat, the destruction of one of their 4 boats, the dangers of rattlesnakes and rock slides and scorpions being as big as a hand, and the loss of most of their hats to violent winds and waves. The trip was not without its controversies. Several of Powell's biographers had made light of evidence that the Major was a bit loose with the facts on that journey, and that he suppressed any publication of rival trip reports by his men. More controversial is the fate of the 3 members of the party who, just 80 miles or so from the end, decided to abandon the expedition, leave the river, hike out of the canyon, and set out across the desert for a Mormon settlement. That they died a horrible death is certain, though whether it was by thirst or by attack in a case of mistaken identity is still debated. More questionable still is the fact that Major Powell, upon reaching the end of his expedition and returning to Washington, D.C., never sent out a search party to look for the lost men, nor even inquire about their fate. Notwithstanding the critiques of Powell himself, His expedition remains one of the great achievements in American exploration. The historian Wallace Stegner called it the second opening of the West after Lewis and Clark's adventure. The last major blank space of blank space on the American map was filled in. Not to mention the contributions to geology, biology, and geography that the expedition yielded. Drawn in by Power's harrowing adventures and vivid descriptions of the desert, and intrigued by the prospect of canoeing through Utah's most famous canyonlands, our party embarked on a 52-mile slice of river adventure, meager by some standards, but just fine by ours. After all, it was October in the desert, and we had no intention of having to quit and walk out.
You gotta be moving like about 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, we're cooking pretty good. After about 9 or 10 miles of paddling, we arrived at Jasper Canyon Camp, and it was not taken yet. We will have 2 days here, and I was looking forward to it. The canoes were unloaded, and we had the entire rest of the afternoon and evening to relax and do whatever we wanted. After a long float today, I was hot and felt like cooling off and freshening up in the river. I was going to go in full body, but the water was colder than I expected. So I just got in partially and I used the water to help cool off. Alright folks, I was going to dip into the river all the way over my head, but it was so cold when I got in up to my waist that I was like, alright, I'm cooled off. Splash some on my head, my face, feel much better. Oh, that was intense. All right, I'll be honest, that cruise here today was rough. There's a lot of wind. The water was very rough. You can still see it's a little choppy, but it was big waves of water almost coming in the boat. 10 miles of that. And we had a couple moments where it calmed down and the wind was gone and we had the glass-like water again. But for most of it, it was a tough, very tough paddle today. But don't get me wrong, folks. Not complaining, just an observation. I still love being here. It's still an amazing place. I mean, look all around me. It's just absolutely beautiful. And you know something, even though I love blue skies, there's something kind of pretty about the white clouds in the blue skies with the red rock like that. Gorgeous.
A lot of color contrast.
Because it was a hotter day, I found some shade and took a rest for a while. This is another one of my favorite things about being in the wilderness. I know it may look uncomfortable, but I was actually quite content in this moment. It was quiet, the shade felt nice, and I was in a beautiful place. Absolutely amazing. And yes, in case you're wondering, I did indeed check this place for snakes and other varmints before I decided to lay down here. After a little nap in the shade, I woke up and yawned some. I knew it was time to get my tent set up for the night. Soon there will be time-lapse of the tent setup. Here we go! think I got the tent set up because it's starting to rain.
The weather was changing with some high winds and rain coming our way soon. I really needed to get this shelter and all my gear inside before that happened. Thankfully, I just finished getting it all done when the storm hit us. We all retreated to our tents to wait it out.
Alright, got everything in the tent just in time because it's starting to rain a little harder out there. Although it's still gentle rain, it's always nice to be prepared. So here I am in the tent of awesomeness. The rain is getting heavier and the wind is getting crazy. I have this thing completely staked down, thankfully, but man, it's picking up some dust.
It got rough for a while, with some intense winds and quite a bit of rain too. The winds were so bad that several of my tent stakes were pulled out of the ground. The tent also collapsed on me several times during the storm. That was a first for me.
It's been raining off and on for a couple hours, I think. And it's supposed to clear up sometime tonight, but at the moment, it's still coming down pretty good, and I'm just laying in the tent relaxing. Took a little nap, it felt really great. You know, it rained for hours, and the ground is dry again already. The sand just sucks it up like a big sponge. But I got myself a nice nap in there for 2-3 hours probably. I feel a lot more rested. Now I'm gonna head down to base camp after I take in some more of this magnificent view. Looks like we're lining up for a nice sunset. Beautiful.
The winds can be really strong in these canyons sometimes, but the tent did keep me dry, and I even took a short nap when the storm calmed down some. After the rain, I went outside and secured my tent stakes to the ground and put some heavy rocks on top of them. This seemed to work, and I had no further stake issues after that. Another classic southwest sunset. It was like looking at a painting, only better. Up to this point, I have never been here, only seen it in photos and videos. Being here in person is so much better. I breathed in the canyon goodness and felt the good medicine of the wilderness heal me from within. Then dinner provided by Roger. Some yummy noodles with chicken. Thanks, Raj. And then for the evening campfire. And of course some slow motion, as usual. Under a starry sky, we enjoyed another great campfire experience. Good friends camping together and sharing memories. That's the life I love, and I am grateful for every moment.
All right, folks, that completes, I think, day 5, I believe. Tomorrow's 6. Yeah, day 5. Wow. I can't tell you how many miles we've canoed so far. It's around 40, but it's been an awesome trip. So I'm going to wrap it up here by saying love, love, hate, hate. Take care of each other, and I'm going to be crashing out here in the tent in just a few minutes.
Chapter 6. Layover Day, and Jasper Canyon hike. Good morning, folks. Welcome to day 6 of 7 here on the Green River. Another layover day, pure gold. Slept in a little later and then relaxed around camp for a while. I love a layover day. There's no rush to do anything. It's all about slowing down and enjoying the moments. We even had some time to do some board gaming at this camp. Today was starting off great. The weather was perfect and we could relax and later go on a hike.
All right, so yesterday we did have a gentle rainstorm for a little bit, but then it got really intense and the winds were horrible. So a lot of my stakes were getting ripped out of the ground, and while I was inside the tent, it was caving in on the inside on me. So after the storm was done, I went around and put all these rocks where I have a stake at, just in case we get another storm, which is unlikely, but you want to make sure that these things are weighted down properly, because that was a little scary yesterday when the wind's blowing this thing in on me and stakes are coming out of the ground, and yeah, it was pretty intense.
I decided to go on a morning walkabout and just explore and enjoy some sunshine. While I was doing this, I saw these little critters. They were everywhere and very curious about me. I kept my distance, but it was neat to see this and even capture a couple of nice moments. They did not seem too scared as long as I stayed away. They were definitely watching me and doing a nice job keeping guard.
There's dozens of these things down here. I thought they were chipmunks, but I'm not 100% certain because of the long skinny tail, but I must have stumbled onto an area where they live, because there's just dozens of them. Just a minute ago, one walked up 6 feet away from me, just stared me in the face for a minute, and then wandered off. There's 2 of them right on top of the rock. Little tiny things, too. Just dozens and dozens of these critters in here, going about their morning business. And every morning when they wake up, this is what they see. How incredible is that? And a little tiny chipmunk, or whatever kind of creature this is, has been popping up on different rocks for the last few minutes and just staring at me. It's very curious, probably not 100% certain what my intentions are, which are just to get video. It just took off, there he goes. But yeah, my intentions are just to get video. I'm not here to harm anyone. I knew there were some ruins back here, but I didn't know they were this close to camp. Right there in the center of the frame, you can see a built wall with an opening inside. So let's go up and take a closer look. However, we are going to tread lightly so we don't damage or hurt anything in the process. But yeah, let's go check it out. Another chipmunk. Wow, that is really built up inside there. Talk about some good masonry work. This could be 1,000 years old or more. I'm not 100% certain, but wow. You can see camp is right down there. And then right up here is this. Pretty neat. Footsteps of history right here. It's really well built and preserved. I have no clue how old it is, but I'll try to find out more information online. I'll add some voiceover in if I learn anything, but yeah, check that out. That is neat. Yeah, it's not really safe to climb up there, so I'm not going to do that and look inside. Plus, you probably should keep your distance when you're looking at historic sites like this anyway, but yeah. Like I said, you can see there's not really a good, safe way to get up there. Most likely, historically, this was probably a granary. Store food in there and stuff like that, because I can see inside a little bit. There's no fire scarring and it's too small really to live in, so it was probably to store food, keep the critters away if they could. Alright, there you go, folks. The footsteps of history right there. Very cool. Really digging being here and just being a part of this beautiful environment, plus having the history here as well. That's just an extra bonus.
I could not find a lot about these ruins online. There are a few pictures, but not much about the history or even the name. In the guidebook, it shows a picture of this and only says, "Ruins at Jasper Canyon." Anyway, I was honored to be here and see all of this. Amazing.
And then we began our hike into the heart of Jasper Canyon. It's going to be an amazing day.
The hiking was easy and the scenery was stunning. What a great place to have a layover day. As we explored further up the canyon, it got more and more beautiful.
Some tall rocks here, folks. I mean, these things are huge. We're hiking back into the canyon now. If I'm not mistaken, up in there was where Matt filmed the waterfall a few years ago during a flash flood. Pretty neat. This is kind of neat. There was definitely some water in here at one point. As all this mud dried and cracked, it's a little reserve that fills up occasionally.
Soon we arrived at a place Matt calls the Hobbit Holes. This place was neat. Years of water dripping from the top created all these holes in the rock. It made for a wonderful and beautiful artwork. Plus, it was in the shade and the air was nice and cool. Perfect place and time to hang out and relax. I wish I could describe what it's like to visit a place like this, but words can't do it justice. You have to come here for yourself and experience it firsthand. Then you'll know what I mean.
I've only seen videos and photos of this place, and all of them are awesome, but here in person, even better. This is really neat, Matt. Thank you for bringing me here.
What a grand adventure we were having. The canyon would end at a cool place that I had seen in videos before, but this was my first time being here in person, and it's so much better. I was really enjoying this hike, and this day felt like a true gift. Sitting in the shade in Jasper Canyon and taking it all in. This place was very spiritual for me, and the feeling I had was almost overwhelming. It felt like I was connecting to an electrical current running straight out of the universe.
All right, folks, it is such a pleasure having a layover day because there's no rushing. We could go do a hike to the back of Jasper Canyon there. I got to share all that with you. It was beautiful. And now we're back at camp, take a little break here, and I'm going to maybe get a board game out. All right, folks, it's a little later in the day, about 1:30 p.m. Still incredibly beautiful out here. And I am back at my tent because I'm going to start pre-packing some gear because we have to get an early start tomorrow to make it down to the confluence. In case you're wondering what the confluence is, that's where the Green River dumps into the Colorado River. And that is where we are meeting the outfitter in the morning. But right now I'm back here. I'm going to pull everything out of the tent that I don't need tonight, pre-pack it, and get it down in the boat just to get a head start on it. Then I heard a guitar coming from the river, and I stopped to listen. All right, folks, after a leisurely afternoon after the hike, I came back to the tent here and I was going to organize, but I just laid down and crashed out for a little bit. Got a little battery powered fan in there, and that's really nice. And now I am going to start pulling gear out of here and kind of pre-organize for tomorrow morning because we got to get an early start. Got my solar charger going there. It's charging a battery for charging the phone. Right now I have this big tote of stuff I gotta go through, and I always bring this tarp with me, so I'm gonna put everything out on there and just kind of look at what's here and prep it and get it ready for the boat. Okay, tarp is gone, gear is reorganized, everything's put back into here, and in the tent I have my backpack and my dry sack ready to go. I'll show you those here in a little bit, but yeah, beautiful day, wonderful place. I love how this view is the same but different every time you look at it. Just absolutely amazing. I felt better about being organized and much closer to being ready to go. Now time for some dinner. Tonight was Frito pie that I made. A simple meal, but definitely comfort food and very yummy. A little while later, a big group came down the river and set up camp on this temporary island. I had a feeling they were shooting for camp at Jasper Canyon, but found it taken already when they got here. But nonetheless, they found a nice spot and set up camp quickly. And they were very quiet neighbors. We hardly even noticed that they were there. And I hope we were quiet for them as well. And yes, another amazing southwest sunset. I never get tired of seeing this. Holy wow. I wish I was a painter. Campfire experience on day 6 of 7 here in the Green River in Utah. Today was a true gift yet again, and I'm very thankful to be here. Thanks to the entire team for making this a wonderful trip. So beautiful, so nice. So I'm going to sign off here and say, love, love, hate, hate. Take care of each other. Chapter 7. Last Day Canoe and Jet Boat. Good morning, folks. Welcome to day 7 of 7 here on the Green River in Utah. Today we got up extra early because we had to float 10 or so miles to meet up with the outfitter who would pick us up in a jet boat, but more on that later. For now, let's enjoy this beautiful morning together. We were also up at the crack of dawn to load gear into the canoes so that we could get on the water soon. We pre-prepped last night and already had a lot of gear in the canoes and ready to go. It was nice having a head start on it all. Before we knew it, all the canoes were packed and ready to go. The last float on the Green River for this trip. Both a happy and a sad thing at the same time. Happy to have done this, but sad that it's ending later today. The Green River gets in your soul and becomes a part of you for the rest of your days. Then we were in the canoes and on our way. It was definitely very chilly outside, especially since the sun was not up yet. We were bundled up and staying warm, but looking forward to the warmth from the morning sun. We did not have to rush because of our early start, so we kind of had a casual float and enjoyed the scenery along the way. Get the guides. No, this isn't a guided trip. By guides, I mean books and maps. You want to spend time reading through them and familiarizing yourself with the trip before you even put a paddle in the water. Two essentials are Belknap's Waterproof Canyonlands River Guide and the River Guide to Canyonlands National Park and vicinity. Why 2 guidebooks? Because Belknap's is more of a map book, showing each bend in the river. It has a bit of information, usually historical tidbits, scattered throughout the pages, but its strengths are the maps. On the other hand, Michael Kelsey's River Guide is packed with details on what to see along the way, and when to explore side canyons off the river. It maps out countless historic sites and prehistoric ruins and petroglyphs, or rock art, worth stopping to see. This pair of books works well together. Our copies are well marked with our own notes, including best campsites. It's not hard to find beautiful campsites while canoeing along the Green River. Just keep your eyes open. There's many along the way. I am truly grateful for adventures like this, and I appreciate the opportunity to travel here with great friends. These folks are some of the best friends a person could ever ask for. I still feel fortunate to have met them and be a part of their awesome lives. Thank you all. As I reflect on my time on the Green River, I have come to the conclusion that this is indeed good medicine. Being here in the Canyonlands in a canoe on the Green River, and the feeling of the cool morning air all around me, wow. I would never dream my life would be like this when growing up in the Midwest back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Back then, the only way I knew about mountains and canyons and rivers that were like this was through television and movies, and the occasional photograph. And while those are all great avenues to share this sort of stuff, they never do it justice, like being here in person. Nothing wrong with the Midwest. There's a lot of beauty there, and good folks there too. However, there's nothing like this. We are on a true wilderness adventure and in the middle of nowhere for 7 days and 6 nights. However, I don't consider this to be the middle of nowhere. I think of this as the middle of everywhere, and I truly love being in nature and recharging my spiritual batteries. Soon we will find where the Green River meets the Colorado River. The river will double in size, and the 2 rivers travel independently side by side until the waters of the Green boils into the waters of the Colorado, and the rivers become one. Of course, as soon as we rounded the bend and entered the confluence, the sky was completely blue, and it looked like we were going to have a beautiful day. Just past the confluence, we saw the jet boat, which happened to be arriving just as we showed up, and they stopped to talk to us.
They were heading to pick up additional passengers and told us they would prefer if we went downriver to a site further down the canyon since they had trouble getting the boat to shore today. So we left and headed downstream a short distance, about a mile or two, to a small sandy beach that they suggested. Pickup via jet boat is set for a specific time, location, and date. You can choose to be picked up at the confluence or downstream at the Spanish Bottom campsite. Your gear must be ready to load as soon as the boat arrives.
Okay, so it sounds like we have to paddle for a little while longer.
There are 2 jet boat shuttles operating out of Moab that I am aware of currently. Visit their websites to confirm prices and details. We use Texas Riverways and they never disappoint. Very professional and always nice to us. The Colorado River was much bigger and faster moving, and the water was much more choppy. This made me a little bit more nervous because of the incident that happened a few days ago, but Roger and I were a good team and we were getting through it without any issues, and we were happy to be on the last day, but a little sad at the same time.
That's a big boat.
Yeah, it was.
That's a big boat.
There's a lot of people on there already, too.
There were
Boy.
a lot of kayaks. I wonder if they were taking them down to Spanish Bottom to get in down there.
That's what I'm thinking. They're gonna drop a lot of those people off down there above that stuff. Yeah, kayaks and some duckies.
That's maybe the beach there.
Might be the one they were talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to slow us down and just watch what's happening.
Come on, James, I'll be scared. Let's go.
I got us going. I'm just also trying to keep us away from those rocks.
We're not going to hit the rock.
We're going way too fast, way too fast. Okay.
We continued down the Colorado River and looked for the beach that they had mentioned. Our float lasted another 30 minutes or so before we spotted the beach and aimed our canoe for a smooth landing. I was relieved to be almost back on land. The canoe part of the adventure had come to an end, but there was still more fun coming our way.
We're going to have to paddle hard when we get close, dude.
Okay.
I think we want to get a little bit closer left so it makes it easier for us.
10-4. We okay?
Yeah, go left. We're good. It's steep here.
Okay. I see a nice sandy spot up there on the left. Maybe we can beach there at the spot.
I pour my heart into the experience, camera, and editing of each of these video adventures. My hopes are to share memories and maybe teach a few things along the way. Not only teach, but also learn and get better at these outdoor adventures. Learning from experience is one of the best ways for me personally, and on this trip, I did learn a few things along the way. I learned that these trips are physically tough, but spiritually rewarding. At the end of each day, I felt accomplished and proud of our team. We all had a safe and fun journey. I also learned that there's a lot more to canoeing than just jumping in and going. It's best to learn from a professional, especially when just beginning. There are a lot of different paddle techniques that are very helpful and will make a person safer in the canoe. I also learned that my life preserver will not be in the canoe with me anymore. I will wear it from now on anytime I'm on the water.
On day 2, when we had the incident and the canoe flipped, my life preserver would have helped me tremendously if I was wearing it. So from now on, no float in a boat without a life preserver. At least for me. Thank you, Alex.
I had to pee so bad.
What? What happened?
We got our gear ready for pickup and cleaned the dirt out of the canoes. We would be ready for the outfitter and make the transition smoother for everyone. The jet boat showed up about an hour or so later to pick us up.
James, help me carry this case over to the boat.
Okay. All right, folks. We made it to the dropout point on the Colorado River here in Utah. We got the jet boat behind us. We pretty much got it almost all loaded up. There's Matt, the Southwest backpacker. 7 days and 6 nights on the lower part of the Green River. About 60 miles canoed. It was wonderful. So stay tuned because the jet boat is up next. Before the jet boat departed, the folks from Texas Riverways gave us a talk about safety and travel. They explained it would be about a 2-hour ride up the Colorado River and that we would cover about 70 miles. They also mentioned to be bundled up because it's going to be a cold ride up the river. We were all ready to go. Once everyone was on the jet boat, it was about a 2-hour ride back up the Colorado River, with some other folks moving at about 30 miles an hour. But I still enjoyed the views and was happy to see the lower end of Jasper Canyon. Be sure to bundle up for this ride. It can get really chilly with the wind and the early morning cooler air. What an amazing 7 days and 6 nights. Every day was beautiful, and the group really enjoyed our time together. This was my 3rd trip down the Green River with these folks, and I have done the upper river the first 2 times, and this trip the 3rd time. We were able to canoe the lower river. I have now seen about 100 miles of the Green River through some of the most majestic scenery ever. I have slept here on 17 different days and have been here for 20 days total over the 3 different trips. This trip was great, and the added emergency incident on day 2 really enhanced the entire trip, especially on the days when we were on the water. I was deeply affected by that day, and even after the trip was over, I'm still feeling the emotions of what happened. It was scary, yes, but it was also a learning experience. One lesson I learned: I will always wear my life preserver from now on any time I'm on the water. I also learned that I might need to learn more about canoeing and have plans to do exactly that. I also learned that when good friends and family are together and they authentically love each other, that dynamic will come together in an emergency situation, and everyone will pitch in and help out with no thought other than safety for all. Thanks to the team of great folks on this trip. You are all truly appreciated. After about a 2-hour jet boat ride up the Colorado River, we made it to the takeout point. Soon there would be a bus here to pick us up and drive us back to Moab. I can tell you I was looking forward to a hot shower once we got there. What an incredible 7 days and 6 nights. The jet boat would be unloaded and all our gear would be delivered to Texas Riverways in Moab. The jet boat dropped us off. and we would soon get in this bus for the drive back to Moab. After about a 45-minute drive, we would make our way back to Moab safely. Remember, folks, love, hate. Take care of each other.
Okay, where it all started and where it all ended. Back at Texas Riverways in Moab, nice and safe. Check out this company online.
All right, fade to black. Or fade to something.
Yes. Yes.
Bushkawanta. Just in case you didn't know. Voiceover provided for free. Sorry, dude. Sorry. Let me back us out here. Alright, 3, 2, 1. .com. Okay. You forget that things stop working when you've been sitting for that long. Whew. No. I love the sun, but man, I love the sun, but that must have been like a Sasquatch sneezing, man. That was some power. Camera's still rolling. Holy crap. I finally caught one of the moments. I don't know how it rolled 21 minutes without stopping from the time right before we went in till we got out of the water. So finally I was rolling at the right time when something good happened. Well, something bad happened. It's good for camera, but bad in real life. Just throw it at my face, dude. Okay, thanks.
We get to camp, I'm gonna have to lay out in the sun. Let my fur dry out a little bit.
All right, sounds good. And cut. Cutty cut. Here we go. Straight there, is it? Three, two, one. Went on this little early morning walk, really to get some sun. Where is that sun at? Anyway. All right. Thanks.
You can see what I'm seeing when you're seeing it, and I'm seeing it at the same time.
And away we go. Go. Yeah. Pretty neat. Sure. Boy, that's some weird lighting. I can't stop smiling.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Remember folks, life is beautiful if you know where to look. Keep your eyes, your heart, and your mind open. It just might lead you somewhere special. Thank you for watching the James Blackburn Experience. Please check out my channel for over 1,000 additional video adventures.
Purple Martians.